Hey, what up, YT? They call me Ace, aka Al. And next we're going to be drawing Miss Sara Bellum from Powerpuff Girls. Sara Bellum being a play on words for the word Sara Bellum. That was always cool. Let's get into it. Let's dance. Light pencil sketch, as usual. This time around, we're drawing Miss Bellum from Powerpuff Girls. I must admit that I went to the zoo with Ted, so I'm a little off on my game on this particular episode. My peoples know what I mean when I say that. If you don't know, well, don't worry about it. As a wee lad, I loved Miss Bellum. As a lot of people did. She was a cool character, well written and stuff like that. She was a great support system for both the mayor and the Powerpuff Girls. And she was hot since I was a kid. There were a lot of animated toons that were drawn way too hot. Her being one of them. Another one was, and her being one of them in the most modest way too. Like, she wasn't too revealing at all. There were a couple episodes, like that episode when she was with the... I don't remember what happened too much. I didn't research anything. But that episode with the Gangrene Gang and something about them taking over the mayor office and she had to dress like a, what's the word? Hillbilly? Town boy? Not town boy. Hillbilly, I guess. A hillbilly type of girl. You know, that thing. Nonetheless, she was hot. She is hot. And she's a modest dressing woman. Other hot characters were characters such as Jessica Rabbit. Who else did it for me? Did it for me as a kid, is what I mean to say. As a grown-up, I can look back. Hindsight. But as a kid, it was more like, am I allowed to watch this? Other characters such as the Tax Avery girl, when the wolf would always howl at her. You know, you get what I'm trying to say. You get it. But yeah, Miss Bellum is dope. Over here I was adding a grayscale to it. I thought in my mind, after doing the pencil sketch, maybe if I just do a good grayscale, let the marker dry, of course, then I could put the next color layer on and the grayscale will just work accordingly. It works when you print out the picture. Or when you get a coloring book that already has a grayscale on it. Maybe I'm not going dark enough on my gray. I don't know. Trial and error. This is one of the first times I'm trying to shade this way. I don't usually shade this way. I usually try to shade by color tone. So this was a test draw. We're going to try it again on another picture. Over here, as you can see, I already laid down my base color red. That was with a red Sharpie. And then with a, what color would I call this? This is not maroon. Something with like a little more purple to it, like a fuchsia marker. I'm doing that on top of the red to try to get the shade in for this part. And for this part, I wanted to do a shading where, you know, like when you're in a doorway or when the sun is behind you or whatever light source you're using is behind you. I wanted to do a picture like that. And I don't normally color this way a lot. So this was new for me and fun. Definitely enjoyed doing it. And I think I accomplished my mission. I feel like I did. I went a couple darker on her skin tone. Oh yeah, her skin tone. Obviously I made her black. I'm not about that representation or whatever. But because of Miss Bellum's original hair, before I mention that part, there is a talk on the internet where, you know, there's a lot of cartoon characters that people will consider or think to be black, even though they don't appear as black. Characters such as Cousin Skeeter's a show. Skeeter from Doug. People be like, yeah, he's a black character. Who else? Other characters like Piccolo, Goofy, I think the Pink Panther, Lola Bunny from Looney Tunes. certain characters who aren't obviously black seem to portray black characteristics or voice or whatever you have it. This character, Miss Bellum, recently, which was a surprise to me, is considered one of the characters is like, yeah, she's really black. And I'm like, she's obviously white. You see the character right there. But I think in my personal thought, it's just her hair, the curliness, which plenty of white characters have. Kind of like that, it's not Shirley Temple, but kind of like that Shirley Temple vibe. You know, the curly white ginger type hair. So it makes sense in this picture in particular. I am over exaggerating on the hair and specifically making it of a black texture, which is why I officially call this one Afro Bellum. Again, I'm not all about the whole representation thing, but certain characters I will take and try to claim them for my own for different reasons. This one is just because of her hair. Someone like Afro Betty is because of the I don't remember her name. Dang it. I don't remember her name. But the character that Betty Boop is initially based off of, which is the black lady. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry about that. But her, which is why I'm like, Afro Betty makes perfect sense to make that character because it's the original person drawn as opposed to the changes made to Betty Boop. Nonetheless. Over here with this picture, I did have a lot of fun coloring it, trying to figure out how to do the color system. With my Sharpies, especially with this fuchsia color, I realized, you know, doing it a bunch of times over, I can get a darker shade, which is what you see on the pits and like the color of the collar. I really enjoyed coloring, and I really hated coloring her hair because of the large space of orange. I knew there'd be those weird lines where you end on one color, go down, finish more and more, and then you go back up, and then you color again, and you can see the difference. That's when the marker isn't as, opaque, and it's more transparent. It happens. I don't usually work on a background. Right now you see me working on a background, like an actual background with a doorway and a hallway, as I mentioned, with the light system. So I figured put it in a doorway. Nope, I didn't figure that. I saw a picture of her in a doorway. A picture very similar to this, but the picture isn't like this. She isn't with her hands flexed, as you see here. But yes, I figured this time around, let me do a background work as opposed to just doing a flat color or a gradation or gradient system going on with my color background or clouds like I do with them Dragon Ball Z pictures. I love Dragon Ball Z. But I loved Powerpuff Girls growing up. I didn't feel like I was watching a girl cartoon or anything. This was just straight up pure fun. And my favorite, of course, was Buttercup. Buttercup had to be it. Love her personality too. And again, gotta love Miss Bellum. Miss Keen was very cool too. The teacher, yeah, we like Miss Keen. Keen? Yes, Miss Keen. Cartoon Network produced a lot of great shows for me growing up. And we're not gonna go through a list of them all. But Powerpuff Girls was definitely up there with the best of them, you know? Yeah, wrapping it up. Another one done, son. Just my kind of fun. Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around for this long. Like if you liked the video, subscribe if you with this noise, share it if you're about that life. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me at Spilt Ink Ace on Instagram, TikTok. You can also find me at Spilt Ink Ace on Patreon. Thank you for your view. I appreciate you. I really do. Alright, I'ma holla at you later.